In 72 hours, Sarah Mitchell would either be free or she would disappear forever. The baby in her arms had finally stopped crying. She'd learned how to keep her quiet. In a palace with 47 bedrooms, somehow there was nowhere to hide. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. The message made her blood run cold. He knows. Get out. Now. But you can't just leave Dubai. Not when you're married to royalty. Not when the secret you're carrying could destroy everything. This is the story of how one woman's fairy tale became a nightmare and how she had just 3 days to save her life. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to True Crime Mysteries. Before we dive into this absolutely insane story, drop a comment right now and tell me where you're watching from. I want to see how far this story reaches. Just type your country or city. Let's build this community together. Now, here's what I need you to understand before we start. What you're about to hear sounds like fiction. It's not. This happened 5 years ago to a real woman who's still in hiding today, because the man she escaped, he's still looking for her. Dubai, 2015. If you've never been, imagine this. Buildings that pierce the clouds, cars that cost more than houses, gold vending machines, actual gold vending machines. And somewhere in this city of impossible wealth, a 28-year-old American woman is about to have her life changed forever. Sarah wasn't rich. She wasn't famous. She was a corporate event planner from Austin, Texas, hired to organize a tech conference at the Burj Al Arab. You know that hotel that looks like a giant sail, the one on every postcard? Yeah, that one. She was good at her job, detail-oriented, professional, the kind of person who triple-checks everything. She had no idea that being detail-oriented would eventually save her life. The conference was going perfectly until day 2, when she noticed him. Let's call him Ahmed. I'm not using real names here for legal reasons and for Sarah's protection, because as you'll learn, this family doesn't play games. Ahmed was late 30s, educated in London, charming, spoke 5 languages, and yes, he was a sheikh, not the ruler of Dubai, but part of the extended royal family, which in that world means you're basically untouchable. Their first conversation was about coffee. Sounds boring, right? But listen to this. He asked about her favorite coffee. She said anything with cinnamon. 2 hours later, a barista showed up at her event setup with a custom cinnamon latte. The cup had her name spelled correctly. Do you know how rare that is? That's what it started. Over the next 6 months, Ahmed pursued Sarah like she was the only woman on earth. Private jet to the Maldives for a weekend, dinner on a yacht in the Persian Gulf, roses delivered to her hotel room, not a dozen, not 2 dozen, 300 roses. Her room looked like a garden. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, red flag, love bombing, and you're not wrong, but put yourself in her shoes for a second. Sarah had been in 2 serious relationships before. One guy forgot her birthday 3 years in a row. The other one split dinner checks down to the penny, and now she's got a literal prince telling her she's the most interesting person he's ever met, flying her around the world, introducing her to his friends. He seemed normal, respectful. He didn't pressure her. He talked about his charity work, his education reform ideas. He asked about her family, her dreams, her favorite childhood memories. By month 4, she was in love. By month 6, she'd quit her job and moved to Dubai. By month 8, they were married. The wedding was small, private. Ahmed said he wanted it intimate, not a media circus. Sarah thought that was romantic. Looking back, first real red flag. But in the moment, she was living a dream. They honeymooned in Bali, came back to a palace, and yes, I mean an actual palace, in a private compound outside Dubai. Sarah had her own staff, a driver, a personal shopper, credit cards with no limits. She started a blog about expat life, made friends with other Western women married to wealthy Middle Eastern men, took Arabic lessons 3 times a week. Ahmed encouraged all of it. "I want you to feel at home here," he'd say. Life was good. Better than good, until month 14 of marriage, when Sarah discovered something that would change everything. She was pregnant. Sarah was excited. Ahmed was different, distant. He'd suddenly have more business trips, more family obligations. She'd try to talk to him about baby names, nursery colors, and he'd just nod, distracted. One night, 8 weeks into the pregnancy, she woke up and he wasn't in bed. She found him in his office, door closed, speaking rapid Arabic on the phone. She didn't understand the words, but she understood the tone. He was angry. When he came back to bed, she pretended to be asleep.
That's when the doubts started creeping in. Little questions she'd been pushing aside. Why had she never met his parents? Why was the wedding so secret? Why did he always change the subject when she asked about his previous relationships? But she was pregnant now. She was going to be a mother. She pushed the doubt down and focused on the future. She had no idea that in another palace, 40 miles away, someone was asking questions about her, and they didn't like the answers they were getting. 5 months pregnant. Sarah's showing now. She's at a cafe in Dubai Marina, meeting a friend, Jessica, another American expat. A woman approaches their table, middle-aged, designer everything, perfect English with a British accent. Is Sarah Mitchell? Sarah nods. The woman sits down without being invited. My name is Fatima. We need to talk about your husband. Jessica immediately tries to intervene, but Fatima raises a hand. I'm not here to cause problems. I'm here to warn you. Ahmed is not who you think he is. Sarah's heart is pounding. I don't know what you're talking about. Fatima slides a folder across the table. He's done this before, 3 times. You're number 4. The folder contains photos, marriage certificates, and one document that makes Sarah's blood run cold. A divorce decree, filed 6 months ago, 6 months into Sarah's marriage to Ahmed. He was married to someone else the whole time. Sarah can't breathe. The cafe is spinning. That's not possible. We're married. I have a marriage certificate. Fatima's expression is pure pity. Sarah, under UAE law, Muslim men can have up to 4 wives. Your certificate is real. So were the others. 3 other women. 1 from France, 1 from Canada, 1 from the Philippines. All beautiful, all Western, all gone now. Where are they? Sarah whispers. Fatima closes the folder. That's what I'm trying to prevent happening to you. Once you have the baby, once it's registered as his child, you can't leave. The child is Emirati. You'll need his permission to take the baby out of the country, and he'll never give it. Sarah's hand goes to her stomach. Why are you telling me this? Fatima stands up. Because the last woman who tried to leave, well, let's just say she never made it to the airport. Talk to your friend Layla, the one who teaches you Arabic. Ask her about her sister. And then she's gone. Sarah sits there frozen. Jessica is talking, but Sarah can't hear her. All she can think about is Layla's sister, the one Layla said moved back to Russia suddenly, the one whose social media went dark 3 years ago. If you're still watching, I need you to do something for me. Hit that like button right now, not because I'm asking, but because this story needs to be heard. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We're just getting to the part where everything falls apart. Sarah doesn't confront Ahmed, not yet. She does something smarter. She starts investigating. She befriends Ahmed's driver, Rashid, brings him coffee, asks about his family, builds trust. One day, casually, Rashid, you've worked for the family long? 10 years, madam. You must have seen a lot of changes. Ahmed's previous relationships. Rashid's face goes carefully blank. I drive, I don't see. But Sarah catches something in his eyes. Fear. She changes tactics. She starts going through Ahmed's things when he's away. She's careful, takes photos with her phone, puts everything back exactly as it was. She finds a second phone, locked. She finds business documents, properties she didn't know about, bank accounts in different names.
And she finds something else, hidden in a safe behind a painting. She'd watched Ahmed open it once, memorized the combination. Inside, 4 passports. 4 women who look nothing alike, except for their eyes. In every photo, their eyes look empty, haunted. Sarah takes pictures of everything, uploads them to a secret email account, and then she puts it all back and waits. 2 weeks later, Ahmed announces they're hosting a dinner party. Family, he says. It's time you met everyone. Sarah's 7 months pregnant now. She can't fly, can't easily run. The dinner is at their palace. 30 people. All Ahmed's family and inner circle. She's making small talk with Ahmed's cousin's wife when an older woman approaches, Ahmed's aunt. The conversation starts polite, then the aunt says something in Arabic to the cousin's wife. They both look at Sarah's stomach. The cousin's wife translates. She says the baby will be beautiful. She hopes it has Ahmed's eyes. Sarah smiles. Thank you. The aunt says something else, longer this time. The cousin's wife's face goes white. What did she say? Sarah asks. The cousin's wife hesitates. She says she's glad Ahmed found someone who can give him children. His first 3 wives were all unable. Sarah's smile doesn't falter, but her mind is racing. Unable? I thought they just didn't want children. The cousin's wife realizes she said too much. I'm sorry, I need to check on something in the kitchen. She hurries away. Sarah stands there, alone in a room full of people, and realizes something horrifying. The other wives didn't leave because they couldn't have children. They left because they did. That night, after everyone leaves, Sarah confronts Ahmed. How many wives do you have? He's calm, too calm. In my culture, don't just answer the question. Currently, 2, including you. The word currently hangs in the air like poison. And the others? They weren't suited for this life. Where are they, Ahmed? His face hardens. That's not your concern. I'm your wife, pregnant with your child. It's absolutely my concern. He stands up, walks to the window. When he speaks, his voice is different, colder. You need to understand something, Sarah. You live in my country now, in my house, under my protection. Your visa, your legal status, your ability to stay here, it all depends on me. You're going to have my child. That child will be Emirati, will be raised here with me. You can make that easy or you can make it difficult, but the outcome will be the same. He walks out of the room. Sarah stands there, 7 months pregnant, in a palace that suddenly feels like a prison, and she realizes Fatima was right. She has to get out. But how do you escape when you're carrying your captor's child? Now, here's where the story takes a turn that even I didn't see coming, and I need you to pay attention because this changes everything. Sarah spends 3 days barely eating, barely sleeping, just thinking. And then she remembers something. 4 months before she found out she was pregnant, Ahmed had gone on a business trip, 2 weeks, London and Paris. Sarah had been lonely. She'd gone to a charity gala at the Atlantis Hotel with Jessica. There was a man there, Daniel, a British architect working on a project in Abu Dhabi. They talked all night, about books, about dreams, about feeling displaced in a foreign country. He asked for her number. She said no, she was married. But he was staying at the same hotel where the gala was, and when she went to get her coat, he was in the lobby. 1 coffee, just to keep talking. I'm not going to give you every detail of what happened that night. That's not what this story is about. But here's what you need to know. Sarah made a choice, a mistake, a moment of loneliness that turned into something she never planned. She and Daniel had 1 night together. 1 night. She never saw him again. He went back to London. She went back to her marriage, drowning in guilt. And when she found out she was pregnant 6 weeks later, she did the math. The baby could be Ahmed's, or it could be Daniel's. She'd convinced herself it was Ahmed's. She had to be. The alternative was unthinkable. But now, sitting in this palace prison, she realizes if the baby isn't Ahmed's and he finds out, she won't just lose her child, she'll lose everything. Sarah does something incredibly brave and incredibly stupid. She tells Ahmed she wants a private doctor for the delivery, someone who specializes in American birthing preferences. Ahmed doesn't care. He's barely around anymore. He agrees. Sarah finds a doctor, Dr. Morrison, a British woman who's been practicing in Dubai for 15 years. At the 8th-month checkup, Sarah asks the question that's been burning in her mind. Can you tell before the baby is born who the father is? Dr. Morrison's expression doesn't change, but her voice drops to a whisper. Why are you asking me this? Sarah breaks down, tells her everything, the multiple wives, the threats, the trapped feeling. Dr. Morrison listens. Then she does something unexpected. She closes the door to the exam room, locks it. There's a test, cell-free fetal DNA. We can extract the baby's DNA from your blood, compare it to potential fathers. How long does it take? 2 weeks. But Sarah, if the results show what you think they might show, you need to leave before the baby is born, because once that child is born on UAE soil and registered, you'll never get out. Sarah's hands shake as she provides her blood sample. What about the father's DNA, to compare? Dr. Morrison looks at her steadily. Do you have a way to get it? Sarah thinks about Ahmed's razor, his toothbrush. Yes. Then we'll run the test. But Sarah, whatever the results say, you have 2 months, maybe less. Start planning now. The 2 weeks waiting for results are the longest of Sarah's life. She starts preparing, quietly, carefully.
She withdraws cash, small amounts, nothing that triggers alerts, hides it in different places around the palace. She contacts the U.S. Embassy, gets a list of her rights. Limited, she discovers, very limited. And then the envelope arrives. Dr. Morrison's office, private courier. Sarah locks herself in the bathroom, opens it with shaking hands. The baby isn't Ahmed's. She reads the results 3 times trying to find a mistake. There isn't one. 99.9% probability of exclusion. Ahmed is not the biological father. Sarah sits on the bathroom floor and cries, not from relief, from terror, because she knows what happens when Ahmed finds out, and in this country, he will find out. The moment the baby is born, there will be blood tests, registration, documentation. She has maybe 6 weeks before she delivers. 6 weeks to plan an escape from a man who owns everything, knows everyone, and has made women disappear before. And then her phone buzzes. Text from unknown number. I can help, but we have to move fast. -F. Fatima, the woman from the cafe, Sarah's only hope. Comment below right now, what would you do in Sarah's situation? Would you run, or would you stay and hope for the best? I'm genuinely curious what you think. They meet at a different cafe, Sharjah this time, outside Dubai, less surveillance. Fatima brings someone else, a lawyer, Indian, specializes in family law and expatriate rights. Here's the situation, the lawyer explains. You have 2 options. 1, stay, have the baby, hope Ahmed never finds out, live in fear forever. And option 2, you leave before the baby is born, give birth somewhere else, establish paternity in a different country, never come back. How? My passport is locked in Ahmed's safe. He tracks my phone, his security knows everywhere I go. Fatima leans forward, which is why we have to make him think you're still here when you're not. Over the next 2 hours, they lay out a plan so intricate, so risky, that Sarah's first instinct is to say no. But then she remembers those 4 passports in Ahmed's safe, 4 women, and she says yes. The plan. Phase 1, stage a medical emergency, get admitted to hospital for pregnancy complications, real hospital, real admission, but a doctor who's sympathetic to their cause. Phase 2, while Sarah is in the hospital, Fatima's team will copy Sarah's passport. They have someone in immigration, create a duplicate. The original stays in Ahmed's safe. He'll never know it's been copied. Phase 3, a woman who looks similar to Sarah, same height, same build, will check in to the hospital under a different name, pregnant, same due date. This woman will become Sarah's double. Phase 4, Sarah will be transferred to a different facility, an ambulance, but it won't go to another hospital. It'll go to a private medical clinic near the Oman border. Phase 5, the double stays in the Dubai hospital, sends texts from Sarah's phone, receives visitors from a distance, too sick for visitors in person, keeps up the charade.
Phase 6. Sarah crosses into Oman, then to a private airstrip, then out of the Middle East entirely. Europe, then USA. How long do I have before he realizes I'm gone? Sarah asks. 72 hours, Fatima says, maybe less. Once you're in that ambulance, the clock starts. You have 3 days to get out of the UAE and ideally out of the Middle East entirely before he mobilizes resources to find you. The lawyer adds, and Sarah, once you do this, you can never come back. Not to Dubai, possibly not to any GCC country. He'll file charges. Parental abduction, even though the baby isn't his, breach of contract if you signed any prenuptial agreements. It won't matter that you're right. What matters is what he can prove in a court system that favors him. Sarah nods. She understands. When do we do this? Fatima checks her watch. You're 37 weeks now? Yes. Then we have 1 week to get everything in place. The operation happens next Friday. Which means starting now, you have exactly 10 days before your entire life changes forever. Use them wisely. The next 7 days are the most stressful of Sarah's life. She has to act normal, attend dinners, smile at Ahmed's family, pretend everything is fine. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Fatima's team is moving pieces into place like a chess game. The hospital is arranged. Dr. Morrison will be the admitting physician. The double is ready, a Filipina woman named Maria, who's also pregnant, also trapped in an abusive marriage, also desperate to leave. They'll help each other. The passport copy is made. Perfect forgery. The ambulance is secured. The driver is paid, handsomely. And more importantly, he has his own reasons to hate the royal family. His sister was married to one of Ahmed's cousins. She died under mysterious circumstances 3 years ago. Everything is ready. Friday morning, Sarah wakes up at 5 a.m. Ahmed is asleep next to her. She looks at him, tries to find any hint of the man she fell in love with. Can't. She gets up, goes to the nursery, looks at the crib they picked out together, the mobile with the little moons and stars. She won't be bringing any of this. She's packed one bag, small, hidden in the bottom of her closet. Cash, documents, one change of clothes, a burner phone Fatima gave her. At 2 p.m., the emergency happens. Sarah is at lunch with 2 of Ahmed's cousins at a restaurant in downtown Dubai. She's barely touched her food, too nervous. Then, right on schedule, she gasps, grabs her stomach. "The baby! Something's wrong!" The cousins panic. Call an ambulance. Call Ahmed. Sarah is rushed to the hospital. The cousins follow. Ahmed arrives 20 minutes later. Dr. Morrison meets them in the ER, professional, concerned. "She's having contractions. Too early. We need to admit her, monitor the baby, possibly induce if the stress continues." Ahmed is on his phone, already distracted. A business crisis in Abu Dhabi. He has to leave. "I'll be back tonight," he tells Sarah. He kisses her forehead. "You're strong. You'll be fine." It's the last time she'll ever see him. As soon as he leaves, the cousins are ushered to the waiting room. Family only during examination, a nurse tells them. Sarah is wheeled to a private room, 4th floor, corner room, away from main corridor. Dr. Morrison closes the door. "We have 3 hours before visiting hours when they'll expect to see you. The double is in room 412, 2 floors up. Ready?" Sarah nods. "Then let's get you out of here." Sarah changes clothes, regular clothes, hijab and abaya, traditional covering, sunglasses. In Dubai, a woman in full coverage is invisible. She walks out of the room, down the hall, not to the elevator, to the service stairs. Her heart is pounding so hard she thinks everyone can hear it. 3rd floor, 2nd floor, ground floor. The ambulance is waiting at a side entrance, not the main ER bay, a service entrance used for medical supply deliveries. The driver, Tariq, his sister was the one who died, nods at her, quickly. She gets in, lies on the gurney. A real EMT is with them. He hooks her up to monitors. "In case we're stopped," he explains, "everything has to look real." The ambulance pulls out, slow, normal speed, no sirens. They drive through Dubai. Every red light feels like an eternity. Every police car they pass makes Sarah's breath catch. 45 minutes later, they're on the E102, the highway to Oman. "How long to the border?" Sarah asks. 90 minutes, Tariq says, "but we're not going to the main border crossing." "Where are we going?" "Trust me." They drive into the desert, off the main highway, onto smaller roads, then dirt roads. Sarah's real phone, the one Ahmed can track, is still at the hospital, in Maria's room. Maria is sending texts, feeling better, baby is okay, just need rest. Ahmed responds, "Good, I'll visit tomorrow morning." Tomorrow morning, Sarah will be in a different country, if she makes it. They reach a checkpoint, not an official one, a gap in the fence line where local Bedouins cross between UAE and Oman. 2 men are waiting. One of them is Fatima's brother. "We'll get you across, but you have to walk. The terrain is too rough for the ambulance." Sarah is 37 weeks pregnant. Every step is agony, but she walks, through sand, through scrub, in the blazing afternoon heat. 20 minutes that feel like 20 hours. On the other side, an SUV is waiting, Omani plates. "Get in," the driver says. "We have a long drive." "Where are we going?" "Muscat." Then a plane, private charter to Istanbul. From there, you're on your own. Sarah collapses into the back seat, exhausted. They drive. An hour passes. Then her burner phone rings. Fatima. "Sarah, we have a problem." Sarah's blood runs cold. "What happened?" "Ahmed showed up at the hospital early. He's asking to see you. Maria is trying to stall, but how long do I have?" "If he gets suspicious, maybe hours. He has resources, Sarah. Helicopters, private security. Once he realizes you're gone and figures out you're headed to Oman, I'm already in Oman. Then you need to move faster. Get to that plane, get out of the Middle East today. Don't wait for morning. The line goes dead. Sarah looks at the driver. How far to Muscat? 4 hours. Can you make it 3? He looks at her in the rearview mirror, sees the fear in her eyes. Hold on, he says, and accelerates. They reach Muscat at 11 p.m. The private airfield is dark. One small plane, pilot waiting. You're late, he says. Not angry, just factual. Can we still fly? Sarah asks. Where's the money? She hands him an envelope. Cash. $15,000. Every penny she'd managed to save and hide. He counts it. Nods. Get in. As Sarah climbs into the small plane, her phone buzzes. One last message from Fatima. He knows. He's mobilizing. Don't land in Turkey. Go straight to Europe. And Sarah, good luck. You're braver than you know. Sarah deletes the message, takes out the SIM card, breaks it in half. The plane takes off into the night sky. Below, somewhere in the desert, Ahmed is realizing his wife is gone. Somewhere in Dubai, Maria is being questioned, but Sarah is in the air, flying west, toward freedom. 7 hours later, she lands in Athens, Greece. She applies for emergency asylum. She contacts the U.S. Embassy, and 2 weeks later, in a hospital in London where she'd flown using her emergency travel documents, Sarah gives birth to a healthy baby girl. She names her Liberty, and she never goes back. So that's the escape. But what happened after? Sarah gave birth in London, established paternity with Daniel. Yes, she tracked him down, told him everything. He stepped up. They're not together romantically, but he's involved in his daughter's life. Ahmed filed charges in UAE, parental abduction, theft, breach of contract. But Sarah's daughter was born in UK, British birth certificate, no Emirati documentation. Legally, Ahmed has no claim. He tried to pursue her through international courts. Failed. The UK court system looked at the evidence, the multiple wives, the control, the threats, and ruled in Sarah's favor. Maria, the woman who helped Sarah escape, she made it out too, 2 weeks later, different route. She's now in Manila with her family. Dr. Morrison left Dubai 6 months later, practices in London now. Fatima, still in Dubai, still helping women escape, still taking massive risks. And Ahmed? He's married again. Wife number 5, another Western woman. Sarah tried to contact her, warn her. The message never got through. Here's what this story is really about, though. It's not about one woman's escape. It's about a system that allows this to happen. Dubai is an incredible city, beautiful, modern, safe in a lot of ways. But under that gleaming surface, there are laws that don't protect everyone equally, especially women, especially foreign women married to local men. Not every Emirati man is like Ahmed. That would be ridiculous and unfair. But the legal system creates opportunities for abuse, for control, for women to be trapped with no recourse. And it's not just Dubai. It's not just the UAE. This happens everywhere there's a power imbalance, everywhere there's laws that favor one group over another. The thing that makes Sarah's story unique isn't that it happened, it's that she got out. Most don't. Think about that for a second. How many women are still there, still trapped, still pretending everything is fine because they don't see another option? This isn't just a Middle East problem, by the way. Happens in the US, too. Different laws, same control dynamics. Happens everywhere. The common thread? Power, and what people do when they have it and you don't. Sarah lives in the US now. Small town. Changed her name. Works remotely. Her daughter is 5 years old. She still looks over her shoulder, still checks before she posts anything online, still worries. Because here's the thing about escaping. You're never completely free. The fear stays with you. If this story affected you, I need you to do something. Share this video. Someone in your life might need to hear it. Someone might be in a situation where they feel trapped and they need to know that escape is possible. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We cover stories like this every week. Stories that matter. Stories that need to be told. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Do Do you think Sarah made the right choice? Should she have tried harder to warn the next wife? What would you have done differently? I read every single comment and I want to hear from you. And remember, if you or someone you know is in a controlling relationship, doesn't matter where, there are resources, national hotlines, local organizations, embassies. You're not trapped, even when it feels like you are. Thanks for watching True Crime Mysteries. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there.